This college football picks week 1 part 1 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
This is Jerry Glanville, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. We talking lacrosse? What's going on?
We're not talking.
CJ looks a little different over here.
Not talking lacrosse. We're joined by Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee from the College Football Experience.
I apologize. It just there's so much going on this table.
What's happening, Colby?
Yeah, I'm delighted to be here. I was wondering the goggles. You got to explain that to me, guys.
So, Colby, when we go in the lab with Rhythm, we're in the lab cooking up some winning bets. Shout out to Rhythm. Also, was their model, I think, was also on Georgia Tech. Helped me, both of us. Kramer gave out Georgia Tech money line. So when you're cooking with gas. Like plus 400, I got it at Circa. Shout out to me and the Circa for dealing a nice 4-1. Great way to start the college football season. But you got to be careful, Colby. You might get a little shrapnel from some of the from the laboratory.
I was convinced this was bet detective related.
No. Spuds is on the case. He's a party dog, but he parties responsibly. He's wearing his safety goggles.
The bet detective minus 200 did not cash. But Georgia
Colby,
Tech. Wow.
You might need to turn they might be on CJ level. You might need to turn the headphones down a little bit. I can tell you're talking softly because you're just getting juice in your ears. That sounded differently than I wanted to sound. But so back to Rhythm, because you jumped ahead of me.
Yes.
I will say that adding. I told you about Veronica.
Yeah.
Recently. Well, Stacy, maybe I haven't come up with the second one yet, but the unnamed,
the Rhythm model to be named.
We will
later?
have a debut of the unnamed.
Okay.
That
like
Veronica Vaughn.
What a piece of ass. Well, you could imagine.
So Sean, you
Yes.
got plus 4. Going back to the tout, you got.
I don't like yeah, but sure.
Well, you got plus 400. I remember like urge when we picked it. It was plus 340.
Yep.
When we got to Vegas, one of the first things I made sure I did was get down on the Georgia Tech money line. I'm like, I know I want. That's pretty much the thing I like the most on the weekend. I'm gonna get down heavy on it. It's plus 350. There's no way this price gets any better. 12 hours later,
no, it was
looking like a real schmuck.
It was right. It was after the.
I'm looking like bet detective, not getting a 66-1 Will Levis most passing.
It was after the VSiN show, and honestly, it could have been way more because I had the Raiders money line on the preseason game, and if that would have hit, I was going to roll it into Georgia Tech money line. But
So I was never going to go bigger.
I would have if I would have hit Raiders money line in the preseason game.
A 4-1 dog, that size bet on a college football money line. That's a big bet for me, or that's a good size bet for me.
Yeah. But it was never in doubt. Like they just destroyed them. It was great. And I'm mad at myself, but in particular with the Nevada angle. I pride myself. I knew Reno's elevation. I love high elevation
Shit,
dogs.
weather too. That weather was insane.
And
They had snow on the top of a mountain.
And I heard all this SMU. They got all this money. They're going to be wheeling and dealing, fast paced offense. They almost lost the game outright.
They should have lost the game outright if it wasn't for a ridiculous fair catch fumble on a touchback.
So
that game
what
was
happened?
wild.
The money not well spent.
I mean, well, they still won. And did you see RJ Maryland? He'll be a first round draft pick. But What's that?
Oh, I was gonna say we did really nail the College of Idaho, destroying.
That was the lock I gave away on the show. I know you guys wouldn't credit me this.
August, no book was hanging alive.
I told you, meet me in those streets of Cut. I didn't see you there, Sean.
we gave out. We said we made the spread laying 28. They won by 38. New Mexico covered. That was nice.
Oh man, that money line should have hit, dude.
That one also too.
We both like the money line.
It was to the point where I was mad. I was mad at myself the entire game for not parlaying Georgia Tech and New Mexico and Nevada. Like I was like, I go, oh man, week 0 was prime for a round robin 3-team money line dog, and thankfully I didn't do it because only the Georgia Tech was the only one that won.
Can we talk about that though? Because like this is. I feel like the portal just makes it harder to understand. Like Nevada was so bad last year. You're just sitting there. I love the coaching hire. I mean, look, I did an episode preseason. I was like, dude, this is going to work out long term. But the portal changes everything, man. And the same can be said. And it shows like the experts all took Florida State. I mean, Pete Thamel released an article saying NFL scouts say Florida State's got the best defensive line in all of college football, and then they go out and get fucking manhandled.
Nick Saban, I think you retweeted it, Colby, but Georgia Tech just had all the receipts of everyone. Nick Saban like they're gonna get pushed around the line, and then just highlights of them running the damn ball.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes it like it's fascinating because I feel like the more that this happens with NIL and the portal, the harder it is to really get a grasp. Now, we just happen to be really sharp because we were on most of these, but the fact that Nevada could be that bad and then that look that decent with their backup quarterback, Joe Purdy was going to start.
Yeah,
it shows that to me in the portal, it just makes it harder projecting these games. You know, for everybody, like the experts, every dog hit, and people thought SMU and Florida State were like legit contenders in the ACC.
Not Lincoln, but you're right. Most people graded it.
Lincoln did what they did.
most people had it 4-0 ATS.
That's a pyramid scheme.
All for the dogs. They covered by just shy of 16.4 points per game. So it wasn't even like the covers weren't even close.
But you can at least. I mean, it's fairly easy to at least for like an SMU Nevada game. Excuse me. It's pretty easy to see. All right, SMU
overlooking it on the road, elevation.
Yeah, and well, no, and on the other side, kind of just like a complete show up spot. I don't know. Maybe they're better than we thought they're going to be.
Oh, I think New Mexico and Nevada are both better than what I thought. Like I'm high on Bronco Mendenhall, but I thought, okay, like that quarterback's good. I knew that, but I didn't know the rest of the team. Like,
well, and Montana State too. I said this to Kramer while we were sitting at Circa. I go, if they realize they can just run it down New Mexico's throat, they should do that, and they're gonna win this game. And I think a couple plays later, they hit that like 85-yard run,
96-yarder.
96, yeah,
that's the furthest I've ever seen a white guy run ever.
Did you not
Forrest Gump
remind us that they lost by 4 to Richmond?
No, they got blown out by Richmond by 17.
Okay.
Right. And I thought it was different. And I was right. Like
it was
New Mexico's defense scored 2 touchdowns. So I knew
it's a bit of an outlier, but
and that's incredible to lose a game where you score 2 defensive touchdowns.
Yes.
I mean,
and have a 17-point lead with like 6 minutes left.
Feel like I got you on the right side of that one with Montana State, but just a couple turnovers.
Dude, they only had the lead for like 10 seconds in the game, dude.
Can't rely on defensive touchdowns every week. I feel like my model Veronica had the right side there. Official news: Veronica will be the name of the college football.
Wow, what a hottie!
Yeah.
And of course, we did see. Well, there's been some news. The conferences finally announced their tiebreakers. Colby, I couldn't read the Big Ten's font, but give me the takeaway on how they plan on, and they don't have it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they haven't even figured out what the 3-way tie is, just like head-to-head ties.
Yeah, and didn't I?
Well, it's some conferences have released more in-depth official. Like some of this has been leaked, and some is actually being put out.
Yeah, like the Big Ten's one, it says. I mean, first off, it's very long, so I mean, this will take 10 minutes to read this.
Well, don't read it all.
Yeah, just give us your takeaways, Colby.
Well, they don't cover if there's a 3-way tie, which you would think in most conferences there will be 3-way ties when you have 17, 18 teams in conferences.
Yeah, that was the whole thing we wanted to explain. Head-to-head ties are the easiest ones to figure out.
And they say that the tied teams will compare based on head-to-head first, which obviously, if they've played and they have the same record, that makes sense. Very logical of you, Big Ten. But then it will go to records against all common opponents. This is in the Big Ten, by the way. The SEC we could talk about in a minute. And then after, but I don't know. I don't know what to really put into all this because the Big Ten is going to be the most predictable conference. I feel like them and the Conference USA are probably the most predictable conferences in college football. But even with that, there's still a chance that Penn State, USC, and Iowa could be, or with 3 losses.
Well, I mean, that's just the 3 teams you described there: Penn State, Iowa, and USC, all tied for the second place, right?
It could be. It could very well be,
and that's where it's going to get wonky. And again, going back to why we like some of those long shots, one of those tiebreakers are going to break right for a team that has no business being in a conference championship.
Well, and they didn't really answer the question of okay, Penn State and USC play each other, so we'll know that head to head will matter. But what happens in a situation where the third team has beaten Penn State? I know they don't play Iowa, but I'm saying I have more questions still. You know what I mean? They've given us stuff, but it doesn't really answer stuff to me at the same time.
So the Big Ten is actually if you actually read the fine print, the reason they only released the 2-person tiebreaker is because they're adding to what they've already had. They never had a 2-team tiebreaker policy because they had divisions. So you would always have played each other.
Yeah.
So this is just in addition to what already existed. Mm-hmm. So their 3-team tiebreakers will actually be exactly the same as they were last year.
All right. And what is that then? Because I didn't see that in there.
Well, I mean, we can maybe pull it up and do some reading later. But yeah, I would imagine some of the general ridiculous elements of a 3 or more team tiebreaker, common opponent and things that really have nothing.
I hope
to do
we
with
get
anything.
to a coin toss. I'm rooting for the coin toss.
I think we will get to a coin toss.
Beautiful.
Year. That would be fabulous.
All right, let's get into some week 1 picks. And of course, this episode we're doing the Thursday, Friday games. We're going to be doing another episode talking week 1. But let's get into it, Ryan. What do we got first up?
Well, we have. Did we get a final tally on how many games Colby crowbarred on the sheet? I didn't actually check. I
didn't put any extras. Should have.
Is it 12 then?
It is 12.
Okay. Oh wow.
Kind of mad that Kind of mad that I didn't put ULM and Jackson State on there.
And as I was looking at some of these,
and Howard Rutgers. How did Howard Rutgers not make the slate?
And that look, there's some of these big spreads that didn't make the slate that I think are fucking great bets this year.
I mean, look, Colby's we got.
I like Rutgers laying the number. I do too. I also do have a 150 to 1 ticket in my possession. Over at Circus Sports, Rutgers to win the Big Ten. So look out, baby! And Rutgers football is back.
I think some of our audience might leave this episode a bit puzzled as to why we needed this many games.
But people love college football, especially random ass teams on a weekday. This is what DGen
slide into my DMs and if you want less games from Colby.
I tried to do something the TV execs refused to do.
What's that?
And give you games at different windows. So putting
spread it out.
Yeah. I added you could argue that you could put a better game than Monmouth Eastern Washington, but Eastern Washington is late night college football. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get that extra wager
Cooper
there.
Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's not if you're watching, there's going to be no reveal at all because you can see the games on screen, but. Yeah, that was one of the games I was curious about.
That was on the bubble.
Well, no, there's a better game out there, but like I said, I care about my clientele.
All right,
and I want them.
Wait, you got clients now?
I'm not
Ryan,
only.
Is he stealing our clients?
See, what are you doing with these clients, Colby? All right, so I guess this is Thursday, August 29th. Wow,
you don't seem very confident. With August 29th there.
It's very early to be talking about Week 1 college football. We're heading to not Philadelphia, but Villanova, Pennsylvania, to watch Sean's Wildcats of Villanova to keep the streak going here taking on the Youngstown State Penguins. Like that penguin walk. We got is a spread here, minus 12.5. Didn't see a money line or total available. Sean, I assume you're going to have some sort of Philly pride here and take the private school kids.
Yeah, I mean the case for Villanova is pretty simple. They beat them by 17 in the FCS playoffs.
Yep, revenge.
But so it's a revenge spot for Youngstown State. But Youngstown State just lost so much. There was a lot of turmoil on the team. The coach Doug Phillips trying to rally the team, saying, "Hey, we didn't want those guys. We're rebuilding the defense." They're embracing the burn the boats metaphor, basically like, "Hey, they didn't come over on the boat with. We're not going back. We're lighting the boat," which I enjoy. But we
like guys with boats. Row the boat.
Secondary lost every starter outside of
to the FBS too. So that tells you that those guys are pretty good.
Yeah, so I just think there's a pretty big talent gap. Nova's bringing back the quarterback, 3 of their starting linemen, their big receiver. I think they roll. I would play this up to 14, but I'll 12.5 feels like a nice price. Colby,
not so fast, buddy. There's no preseason in college football.
Yeah,
true.
And that's why I think
we just saw this happen.
Even with Youngstown, with all the moving pieces. And I'm curious what they do with the quarterback spot. I tried to do a deep dive on to see if Brungard's going to start or the UCF transfer.
They won't reveal who's starting. But how are we betting on this?
But they did bring in 2 running backs from Cincinnati that I think could be difference makers here, and Ethan Wright and Stephen Bird. They also bring back 4 starters on the offensive line. I think that's enough for me where they can just cover the spread. We know Villanova runs a great program. Connor Watkins, CAA, quarterback of the year, and they bring in NC State transfer Devin Smith. But I like to fade when you put the pussy pack can infect a whole pack. I think this is just a little off. I think there is revenge on the mind. Give me Youngstown to cover this. I do think Nova's going to win the game, but Youngstown covers.
Worth noting, Bill Connolly projects that 6 of the top 9 programs in the FCS coming out of the Missouri Valley Conference. Yeah, so I would imagine this is a pretty interesting spot for Youngstown State. They have much tougher games up on the horizon.
This is a great game here. This is actually
2 top 10 teams.
It's not a look ahead spot for Villanova. They got Colgate next Saturday.
Oh, that's a big rivalry, big CAA battle right there, right?
Kramer, what are you doing?
No, Patriots. Colgate's to the Patriots.
Just making fun of Sean's. I'm taking Youngstown State. We learned something last week.
What was that?
We got to take the dogs. Colby's laying it out there for you. There's no preseason. These teams can't possibly be.
Brian Westbrook went to Villanova.
Yeah, come on. What are we talking about? Villanova's gonna fuck up Youngstown State.
Have you ever watched the Brian Westbrook tape at Villanova? I would imagine he was destroying those nerds.
Oh yeah, he was.
5 p.m. on Thursday, heading down to Jacksonville, Alabama. Gotcha. Coastal Carolina away from the teal. That's probably why Eastern Washington made it later, because they have that dreadful red field. I saw high school getting in some trouble because they made a red turf field and people are unhappy about it. Coastal Carolina heads to Jacksonville to take on Jacksonville State. The Cocks, some call them the Gamecocks.
This is a cockfest.
Well,
you got the Chanticleers against this is the first
little cock off.
Yeah, a little cock off going on here.
Crossing swords.
Hopefully, both have come ready for battle. -2.5 for the Homecocks. -135 on the money line. The Chanticleer is a fancy way of saying cock. +115. 55.5 is the total.
Hey baby, want to come over and see my Chanticleer?
Yeah,
that's actually pretty.
That would be a great video if they just interviewed players on Coastal Carolina and asked them what's a Chanticleer.
Yeah, it's like
asked them to spell Chanticleer. I couldn't spell it, and I don't know what it is.
It's actually Chanticleers, like almost like the CHANTICLEERS. Wow. Okay. It's like when we all learned that Wichita State was a shock of wheat.
You guys know where Coastal Carolina got their football. They started their football program out of the blue in 2003. But you know what is the financial backing there? They call it Brooks Stadium because the owner of Hooters is the guy who put up the money basically to start their football program.
So he actually named his college team the Cocks.
This guy's a marketing whiz.
Hold on, we're gonna have to do some more deeper dive. All right.
I wonder
Colby,
if they don't
which
even
side
hire. Do they even have cheerleaders, or they just like have the waitresses just come there?
How are they not Hoot or Orange? Why are they? Why do they?
I don't
teal?
know. Maybe you wanted to separate because back in the day they had a team.
God.
They had an arena team called the Hooters.
Oh yeah, I remember
The
that.
Chanticleer,
had a
a
team.
proud and fear. This is funny to read. The Chanticleer, a proud and fierce rooster. I can respect warbirds coming from Virginia Tech, the Hokies. Is the unique moniker for Coastal Carolina University's mascot and the athletic teams. The Chanticleer is derived from Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, specifically the Nun's Priest Tale. All right.
Fair enough.
Interesting. That was not
So
as
about this
fun.
cock fest.
That was not as fun as a Hooters cock.
Well, no, look, they've been called. Coastal Carolina's been around further.
Yeah.
So, but my point is, Brooks comes in, and the owner of Hooters is something Brooks, and that's the name of Brooks Stadium. But he put the money down for them to start their football program up.
So in the 60s, the basketball coach Cal Maddox brought up the idea of a new mascot. At the time, they were the Trojans. So.
So Coastal Carolina, no Grayson McCall. They got a new quarterback going on the road. You know, Jacksonville State has Rich Rod, kind of like what they're doing. Defense top in the conference last year, 21.3 points per game. I like taking Coastal Carolina historically. Shout out to Isaiah Likely, but Jacksonville State kind of seems like the play. But what do we make of this new quarterback on the road, Colby? The spread. I don't like taking a -2.5 point favorite at home. That gives me weird vibes, but I'm leaning Jacksonville State. What are you doing?
I mean, I am too, just because I think Rich Rod's such a good coach. This is year 3.
Can't fade Rich Rod.
Their starting running back Ron
Yeah,
Wiggins
you're right.
is out for 10 weeks. That was just announced the other day. But
the whole season.
yeah, pretty much. And then, but Coastal
gotta trust the
hasn't
coaching.
named the starting quarterback yet. So I that's a little bit up in the air. They might play both. I don't like that. And,
No.
And
This is a simple handicap.
Jacksonville State's fans are good too. So I'll lay it with Jacksonville State.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, closing the loop on the cock, the University of South Carolina was actually using Coastal as a branch campus at the time. And that's where the rename was inspired from, the Gamecock, but they didn't want to copy the Gamecocks.
Wow.
They must have loved cockfighting. back
Yeah, a
then.
lot
They're
of
like, we
cockfighting.
love your cock. We want to name our cock, but we're going to go Chanticleer. Yeah, no, come on, Rich Rod. We love Rich Rod early in the season.
Yes.
Part of the system, part of the college
No, he's
football
good.
black
He's
book.
good early.
Well, and especially in this situation, like Colby mentioned, he's in year 3. Things should be going well for them. I don't really have a take on Coastal, but the line is suggesting that we should be terrified of this. No worries. I'm laying it. This is going to get to 3.5. That's my prediction. Another 5 p.m. spot here on the left coast, Minneapolis, Minnesota. We got 2 big boys playing. ACC, North Carolina taking on the Big Ten, Minnesota. Little row your boat. Speaking of those boats earlier, it's got the Gophers and the Tar Heels. Tar Heels laying 1.5 on the road, -120 on the money line. Minnesota +100. 50.5 is the total. Phil Steele and Sean stacking the money green like the Tar Heels this year.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do, but then you look at UNC on the road as a favorite in the Mac Brown era. Only 4-9-1 ATS.
He's not good on the road. You know what it is.
But also PJ Fleck, I kind of assumed PJ Fleck would be good as a home dog. Guess what his record is ATS as a home dog?
What?
7-7-1.
Well, you know why?
Not amazing.
In a boat, yeah, you got to deal with the wake of the boat in front of you. It's a little harder to come from behind.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna take UNC. I don't love it, but I do think they're Marion Hampton. I think that is the workhorse they're gonna get behind. Yeah, I do like Mac Brown here. I think they get off to a decent start. I think they could surprise people. I mean, it's mostly because I like UNC for the season. I'm taking them here, but just the fact maybe it was even earlier today. I feel like they were a dog, and I like the spot so much more. But now, as a road favorite, I'm second guessing myself a little bit. But I'll rock UNC laying the 1.5. Colby, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think a couple days ago, at least like past 48 hours,
I feel like this has
Minnesota was like a
switched.
2-point favorite. That was a little crazy to see, but no, I'm on Minnesota here. I think, first off, Minnesota's run defense has been really good over the years. and then they suffered from bad quarterback play. They go out in the FCS and bring in Max Brosmer. The FCS quarterbacks, say what you want about it, that like Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, these guys have came up and played really well. Max Brosmer was a finalist for the best player in all of the FCS. 29 touchdowns, 6 interceptions a season ago. I think he's a difference maker in their ground attack. And another thing that I love is North Carolina whooped their ass last season. So I think Minnesota has this one circled, and I think the strengths of Minnesota's defense actually are a bad play for North Carolina's offense.
You know what? Breaking news.
Sean,
I'm going to predict.
Yeah.
I'm going to predict
Colby's
UNC wins 28-27. So Minnesota gets the cover. UNC gets the win. Playoff hope still alive.
You can't. All right, there's two bad things going on here. Mac Brown early in the season.
Road favorite is just
in a
too
sleepy
much.
road spot.
And one of the things I love. So there's a lot of people like the win total for Minnesota is way down, right? Fleck has a knack for doing this in his career. When they're supposed to be shitty is when they're good.
Yeah.
So that's why I like taking Minnesota here to get this done, and even the over on the season.
And it's Mac Brown early in the season, and it's Mac Brown on the road. There are some very clear college football systems talking to us here.
Hey, if you guys sign up, underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN, get that sweet deposit bonus up to $1,000 when you use the promo code SGPN. We're going to talk North Dakota State at Colorado. There are a bunch of pick'em options open, including Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, Jimmy Horn Jr., Will Shepherd. Colby, I'll go to you. Any higher lowers you like? And I'll give you the numbers, but do you want to Shedeur, Travis Hunter?
Do they have LeJohntay Wester?
Yeah. Yes, they do. He's sitting at 66.5 receiving yards.
Take the higher on that.
Okay. I like that.
This guy had over 100 catches in 12 games last year.
That's insane.
Yeah. At Florida Atlantic, he transfers in, and from what I understand, he's really been lighting it up in spring and everything. So I would say that would be one. Travis Hunter, I've heard people say they might play him less at wideout. I don't think they should do that. I think you play him as much as you can.
Yeah, but his numbers at 68.5.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, but still, I don't know, man, because we'll get to it in a second. But like North Dakota State's safety, that's like a projected, late first rounder, early second rounder, is out for the game. So they might be a little susceptible in the secondary. So what's Shedeur's passing?
His is 304.5 passing yards. So if we're worried about the receiver distribution, maybe we just take Shedeur.
That's what I'm thinking. That and maybe Wester.
Are you worried about them not being focused on the football game with all these wars being fought off the field? So
we'll go with Shedeur. Colby and I higher 304.5 over at underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGP.
Are you a CBS?
No. I just
because if so, don't talk to me.
Listen, as a member of the media, and an American, the fact that Dion thinks he can silence someone, like go fuck yourself.
Well, again, I've leaned into.
I like Dion, but fuck off.
That is kind of a bitch move. Not being scared of reporters, which maybe understand why they want to do business with Saudi Arabia. Appreciate how they handle the press over there. Well, that's a great joke. Google that one.
Here's the thing, though. Yeah, I just pictured Dion at his next press conference. Remember when that guy threw the shoe at George Bush?
Oh, that was awesome.
George Bush, and then he goes, he's like got a grin on his face.
It is pretty funny,
but it's like, dude, now everyone's just gonna be like, "Yep, you're exactly who I thought you were."
It was great too when they explained it. They're like, in that culture, that's a sign of disrespect. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we did the math. Throwing a shoe at someone, it's not the way you welcome a dignitary.
You see, in Greece, what they do is when they don't like you, they throw shit at you.
When they in their culture, punching someone in the face, it's a sign of disrespect.
Interesting. Not in mine.
What were we talking about again? His
prime.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of ridiculous too. I mean, look,
let's just get into it.
But I will say, like, Bobby Knight was notorious for like certain people just could not. He would just ignore them. Now, he never went and said that and then issued that they couldn't come in, but he would never answer certain publications. I mean, there's been a lot of history of this. I even think Parcells had one that he didn't like answering.
Handle it like a man and do that. Don't
I agree.
make this.
I agree.
Don't have the school take away credentials and stuff. 5 p.m. on the West Coast. Speaking of it, we're heading to Boulder. What's the new city name?
It's smoking my weed.
What's the new city name?
Yeah,
for Boulder. Now that they're attempting to partner with the Middle East. Do we have a clever?
We need one. We need one. I didn't think about that.
Can the college experience put out a map that has all the all the college campus cities that have taken on Saudi Arabia, like Middle Eastern money, and just put them into the Middle East? Like get a Middle Eastern map and replace all the major cities with like College Station.
There's a lot now. That's what I'm saying.
Tallahassee.
Well, the worst thing about Colorado, if you're going to do it, then you got to go all the way and actually make the deal. I was offended that they didn't make the deal. Like, if you want to be SMU, if you want to be Florida State, if you want to be Texas A&M, they make the deal.
Sean, how do you not sell the idea of Coach Prime in Dubai?
Yeah,
who dropped that bag?
Yeah, come on. He shows up with the shades.
It's literally like
they love that over there.
That is perfect.
Yeah, the Colorado games last
year.
were
Coach Prime with like an awesome.
I could see a neutral site game going on over there.
No, they were literally like F1 of it.
They have indoor ski mountains. You don't think they can put together a college football game?
And all the local sheiks are hanging out with the defensive coordinator, getting to call plays. North Dakota State heads to Boulder to take on Colorado. Colorado laying 9.5 minus 350 on the money line. North Dakota State plus 275. The Bison 59.5 is the total. I mean, look, this is a real battle of identity here. You have a Bison who thinks it's a Bison taking on a Bison who thinks it's a Buffalo.
North Dakota, no elevation at the Fargo Dome. You're going to early elevation. I got away from it last week, regrettably so.
Guy.
I'm back, baby.
We need to get Sean some mountaineering gear that he can, fucking maybe a yodel. What are those things?
And I'll say this linebacker they got, Woods. He's been awesome.
Trevor Woods,
yes. Dion's been hyping him up. I think their defense is going to be better, and the line of scrimmage, which was a real weakness for them. You have Travis Hunter healthy, you have Shedeur Sanders healthy. I think they're gonna run it up on him. Colby pointed out the safety being out for North Dakota State. I know Kramer's just a hater, but Shedeur Sanders against an FCS defense, love my chances in that game. And the NDSU lost a lot of three of their offensive line starters. So I'm on Colorado laying the points. Colby,
yeah, very surprising.
Yeah, I mean, look, Colorado's offensive line has to prove it to me, but the defensive line, I am sold on the acquisitions that they got. You know, BJ Green coming over from Arizona State, I think will be one. Like he's going to have double-digit sacks this season. They bring in 2 guys from Pitt, a guy from LSU, a guy from Bama. Like they loaded up on the D line, where I'm actually sold that the defensive line is going to be very good.
And Warren Sapp.
And the main thing,
I forgot about Warren Sapp.
The main part of that is why that's important.
That's
is because North Dakota State can't throw, man. Cam Miller is back for his 5th year, but guess what? If you're not good, you're not good at throwing the football. This guy threw in the last game he played against Montana, completed just 40% of his passes. They're one-dimensional. They're way too one-dimensional, and they're breaking in a brand new head coach. I just don't see it happening. And I think the skill position players for Colorado are going to have a field day. So give me Colorado minus the 9.
Remind me, is Colorado Nebraska rivalry, Colby?
It is.
Oh, what? And remind me, does Colorado travel to Nebraska next week?
They do.
Oh shit!
But they get extra. They get along Thursday to Saturday.
A few extra days.
Hot tamale. You're giving me an easy path to fading Coach Prime. He's literally focused on other shit that isn't football. He's growing, and as you point out, Sean,
he's growing. What do you mean he's growing?
His ego is growing.
Fatter?
He's maybe he has.
Hey, Dion, you think he had a bigger ego now than he was when he was a cornerback?
I think
in the NFL. I mean, he was literally doing this down the sidelines.
He was earning it.
Come on, man.
He was earning it.
Yeah. And he took a team that was dog shit and got him to 4 wins last year,
which is still dog shit.
And he turned his son into a potential draft candidate and a Heisman favorite.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And as you point out, they already are starting to talk to old Jerry down there.
That'll be his
and
next
Big
move.
D.
And then I'll start fading him.
Well, that move's
Till
already
then,
happening. You don't think Deion's looking a year ahead? This is a look ahead season. They already got the Cowboys job. You already got this
look ahead season.
You got this take already, Sean.
Yeah.
The job's in the bag. What are you laying 9.5 week 1 with their former rival?
Well, I mean, they only covered the they were 21-point dogs or 22-point dogs last year week 1. Then they won out.
They were talking as much shit.
You
last
forgot
year.
about Warren Sapp. That's not good for your program.
Who's coaching up the North Dakota D lineman?
Hopefully,
Tony Sapp.
Anyone that isn't Warren Sapp would be an upgrade on Warren Sapp.
Come on.
If you had a college program, would you?
I'm look. Yeah, I don't know where this Warren Sapp hate's coming from. I'm with Warren Sapp here. Let's go.
I don't know if you want to be aligned with Warren Sapp off the field at least. 8. All right, let's head over to 6 p.m. A little bit later. Like Colby said, just absolutely loaded slate. Get those games, 4 games we talked about. I'll watch them all. This one, not sure I'm interested. Monmouth, who I think they're known as a basketball school. They head out.
They're not a bad football program.
They head all the way out to Cheney, Washington, to take on your Eastern Washington.
I mean, Eastern Washington won a national championship not that long ago, man. So
Eagles.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're not a bad
Hawks
team.
Versus the Eagles.
This isn't a horrible game, but it's
really selling people.
The
on
selling point is the team that 5 years ago won a FCS championship, and Cooper Kupp played there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Colby, what are we doing?
And
here?
what?
I mean, the only thing I know about Monmouth is the guy on our football team who got into selling nitrous went there on a scholarship. That's the only background I have.
You still
on
friends with
Monmouth.
him?
He got in a little hot water.
Look, Monmouth has been a solid program. They've
Go all the way to the West Coast.
I mean, my thing
how
is
are they going
this.
to get there? Well, Delaware State showed up nicely in Hawaii.
Yeah,
maybe we take Monmouth.
No, I like it because I just need Eastern Washington's defense to prove to me that they're legit. I mean, I know their offense can move the ball. Efton Chisholm and Nolan Elm at the receiver spots, and then Kiko Vesperis is back at the quarterback spot. They're going to move the ball. But as I watched, I know they played Tennessee State and Eddie George, I think last year was. And they just don't like the tackle. So like to me, when I see a Jersey team known as Monmouth that has been very successful on the ground, even though I know they lost their top running back, I just think there's enough there where they can stay in this game, and they might be the more physical team in this game with bringing in Derek Robertson, a quarterback transfer from Maine, and a few other guys. They also hired North Dakota State's. Their new DC comes over from North Dakota State, Lewis Walker. So. I think he's going to bring a little toughness to that team. Give me Monmouth with the points there.
Yeah, no, this this is one of the FCS games that Mr. Connolly really likes the dog. Thinks the number should be much shorter. And to your point, this is we were talking Villanova earlier. This is a little fellow CAA team here. But yeah, very they're paired closely in both of the kind of advanced analytics rating systems. So 7 points does seem off, which tells me there's either an injury or something we don't know about. These sneaky FCS
going cross country, man.
Yeah. But again, we just saw Delaware State, which was complete ass.
They missed their plane,
and they were complete ass.
Yeah, they were still bad, and they hung around that game. So everyone on Monmouth +7.
I think we have to trust the information. Yeah, we have to fade.
Trust Colby.
No, well, not all the time. Although I think when in doubt, take a dog.
Yeah,
first week of the season. 7 p.m. on the West Coast, San Jose, California. Sean, we were talking with Tim Murray of VSiN about this one last week. Sacramento State, as we were signing up for the contest, taking on San Jose State. San Jose State laying only 2.5 in this one, -160 on the money line. Sacramento State +135, 59.5. The Hornets are getting some respect here, Colby, against the trash ass San Jose State Spartans.
Well, I mean, the Hornets have been an FCS playoff team, 2 or 3 straight seasons.
Why
they beat Stanford at Stanford last year. And I want to say the year before that, they beat, I think was it Colorado State. They whooped their ass. But Andy Thompson is in year 2 there at Sac State, and Caden Bennett's back at the quarterback spot. My only thing is this, man. San Jose State's one of these, like they're one of the more interesting teams in college football this year because Niumatalolo comes in, they're running the run and shoot, and they kept the defensive coordinator there, so they're somewhat intact defensively, which to me is a when you have a brand new head coach, that's half the battle. And then he hired Craig Stutzman, the offensive coordinator, who comes over from Texas State, who lit up Baylor last season, game 1. And Stutzman before that was with Nick Rolovich and got fired because he didn't want to get vaxxed. So, but he's a
you saying this
he's a creative offensive mind, dude. They're going run and shoot. I think it's a very interesting.
So you like San Jose State?
The fact that the line is -2.5 is very. They want you on San Jose State, Ryan.
I'm going to take San Jose State just because I feel like that offense will be ahead of schedule, and the defense keeping the DC and a few starters there. I think the defense will stay in that.
What did Tim Murray say, Kramer? I'm blanking.
The exact opposite handicap on the offense, like kind of not as optimistic about.
I'll take Sacramento State just off the way that they're hanging the 2.5.
Thinking it provides a much lower floor. For what the offense can
and maybe they get off to a rough start. Yeah, all right.
They're breaking in like almost an entirely new offense, but I'm saying like it's not like a transition from the triple to run and shoot. Like they were kind of like a balanced team.
Yeah, no, I see your point, but like you said, there's a lot of turnover there. This is kind of the opposite of why the Hokies are going to be great this year. Sacramento State.
Plus
we love the small schools, you know.
San Jose State.
What?
San Jose State's.
Oh my God.
Stutzman is going to be a head coach soon.
Kramer, let's hop into the lab over on Rhythm, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Here are your goggles.
Oh, I was going to say, did someone
Spuds is wearing the goggles for me.
The dogs in this office have no respect for my dog.
Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial. Kramer, what is your what's Veronica, your model, telling you to get in on?
I don't know. She was getting frisky earlier, and I had to throw it on the ground.
It's too hot.
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I like to treat my model.
My model liked the under in Colorado and North Dakota State. 59.5. My model had it at like 51.5.
Permission to go off book.
What
my
is
model? Well, my model really likes. We got a little. Let's lay the points with. Actually, let's not talk about I was going to bring up New Hampshire and UCF. Let's. All right. The model. Oh no. We're gonna have to go to the. I'm not going to say that out loud. Veronica is very naughty. All right. We'll go. Man, look at some of these games that Veronica likes, Colby. All right, Veronica. Let's head out to Ohio.
Okay, what do we got?
For a real mascot, a rocket, which still not offensive to anyone for some reason. The Toledo lay the points. Veronica.
What's the number? What's the number?
28.5.
Yeah, I think it's down. I think it's down to 27.5. But yeah,
against the Duquesne Dukes, Mr.
the Bet Detectives alma mater.
I'm attacking him this week. I'm just zapping value from the Bet Detectives.
Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
And respect to Rhythm, because I was having to scroll through a lot of the wash that is the week 1 slate. Colby, you weren't wrong about the week 1 slate being a little weak this year, huh?
Oh no, this next game's fire.
Lehigh Army.
Yeah,
Lehigh heads to West Point, which if you've never been, it right there, it can zap your mood and you can have already lost. 3 p.m. on the West Coast now on Friday. Army laying 33.5, 47.5 is the total. That's pretty lofty total for an Army game, is it not? Am I misreading this?
I mean, this is what's great about college football. The spread is 33, total 47. They're just saying, hey, you don't got a fighting chance in hell, Lehigh. The Mountain Hawks don't think they get. Lehigh had all summer. All they've been doing, sitting in their dorm rooms on the south side.
Army plays against teams
going to Goosey Gander, getting some hoagies, thinking we got to fuck up Army. We got a submarine Army in their triple option all summer. All they've been thinking about, chomping at the bit to take down Army, and you're giving them 33.5 points. Jeff Monken, he's not great as a home favorite, 21, 24-1. The Army should never lay this many points.
Jeff Monken's cousin is Todd Monken, the offense coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. And I am excited that they're going back to the triple option. They tried that foo passing attack for like 6 games, and then they're like, fuck this, we're running again. And then they fired the OC and the offseason. They brought in, they're going back to what they should never ditch. And look, I'm with Green here though. Even though they're doing this, Dante Perry back at the quarterback spot, Luke Yoder at the running back spot, Nick Williams, a tight end to watch out for with these Mountain Hawks. And the real logic behind this is when you have a triple team and when you have a month of prep. Now I know, I just did the pick show and NC Nick saying, well, the Army's beat the shit out of the FCS they've played recently, but those were not week 1 games. And that's why I think they bleed the clock. You see it all the time with triple option teams. Look at Air Force. Lehigh covers this number. Army does blow them out, but Lehigh covers it because there's only going to be 8 possessions in this game. So let's go. Give me the Mountain Hawks plus the points.
Well, here's what I would say. Typically, a team like Army is forced to be the outmatched team, and that's where the triple option gives them the advantage. Imagine if Georgia ran the triple option.
They would win national championships because the last team that did this was Nebraska with Tommy Frazier, and they dominated.
This is going to be a problem. Yeah. You're basically praying that you can hold on to a 31-point loss. Is that what you're saying, or 28 points? Is that your handicap of this? Is that what you're saying, Colby?
I think there's only going to be like. You 8
said they're going to get
possessions.
blown out, but they're still going to cover. So what does that mean?
This is going to be like, to me, I don't know, 35-7. Yeah, something like that.
Lock it in.
Look, here's another thing too: is if Lehigh can just have the bend but don't break defense, we know these service academy kickers are always trash.
Great point.
So missed field goals after a 12-minute drive sounds incredible.
57-0 last year against Delaware State.
Yeah, but that was
when they were throwing the ball.
That was not week 1. When you have a whole month to stop the triple option.
2 years ago against Villanova, 49-10.
That was week 3. All right.
Yeah. Come on.
When you only have a couple days to prep, it's completely different. Yeah.
Heat and humidity.
All right.
All they've been doing is running those hills behind Stabler Arena.
Okay.
This team's ready. My buddy knows the coach.
I prefer this. I prefer the United States of America, and the fact that you're taking some tiny little podunk university over this great country's military.
This is an old school game too. It goes back to like the 1880s.
Laying the points. I have way too many dogs in my card. Need to get some chalk going. Temple.
Now this is where you can get some chalk.
Temple heads to Oklahoma, where 4 p.m. on the West Coast on Friday. Temple catching 43 points, 59.5. Why are we talking about this game? Is the total? I can get around Villanova's a good program, but Temple, the Owls, no way they do anything against the Oklahoma Sooners.
And Oklahoma will want to run it up.
They're trying to get those style points.
Yeah,
that's what Oklahoma does.
They won 73-0 over Arkansas State last year. Is this Temple team better than Arkansas State?
No,
I don't think so.
No, I actually think this Temple team is in competition for the worst team in the nation.
All right, so we're laying it.
Yes,
perfect.
We're laying it.
Look at all the chalk I just ate. 2 games, 76.5 points.
Can we talk about like parlay both?
Ooh.
Oklahoma's going to score in the 60s. The Jackson Arnold Heisman hype will begin.
Yeah.
So the total's at 59.5. I think Oklahoma's scoring, minimum, 63.
You have to treat your season like it's you're playing the video game, and you gotta get those stats going for the Heisman guy.
And they're also going to want him. They have Houston on deck, which isn't an exact pushover, so they're going to want him to feel fluid in that offense. This will be the first start of his career, right?
But it's not a look ahead spot. Like this is a tune. This is an actual
tune-up.
This is an actual preseason game, and that's the other thing. What do you think happens when Oklahoma's backups come in? Well, they want to get theirs. So you lay the points in this one, unless the coaching staff
and the backup is Casey Thompson, who's like 7th year starting quarterback.
Yeah, their receiver rooms deep. Like they'll have plenty of good backups though. Like I'm sure the Oklahoma backups would be favored over Temple.
Yes,
so
they're in trouble.
All right, nice work. Anything else to add, Colby?
No, Fade Temple all year. I think is the
really okay.
After EJ Warner transferred.
What do you think this spread will be if after they see the game played? What do you think the spread will be?
What do you mean?
If they ran it back the next
it would be
like 55.5.
Probably like
56
nice.
is a key number.
Yes.
See all that CLV we got already, Sean? All right, FAU heading to East Lansing, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. We like Michigan State this year. The Spartans, I think we were all on the over 4.5. I'm not. Maybe Sean wasn't. Michigan State laying 13.5, minus 690 on the money line. FAU plus 480, 55.5. Back-to-back games with Owls in it. That's amazing, Colby. How'd you pull that one off? I think I'll buy into the Michigan State hype. I was listening to some other people talk about college football, and it does seem like there's a little bit of optimism.
Jonathan Smith's a great fucking coach. They should be really happy.
Yeah, I mean, we were big.
How fast can he make it work?
I guess to me, it's like I see the case for optimism against Michigan State. They are at home, but it's just a ton of change, not only in the transfer portal, everything go. I mean, it's a huge turnover to hit the ground running against an FAU team that's not dog shit.
FAU almost beat Illinois last season in Champaign, and that was in Herman's first year. They probably should have won that game if you watched it. But I'm
gonna take FAU in the point.
I sat in the sports book with a guy who was having a long conversation with me about this product, but he was pitching me on something.
Yes.
But we then got into talking about college football and stadiums, and he said Michigan State he'd been to all the Big Ten, most of the SEC. Said Michigan State was the most underrated home atmosphere he had been to. I think the optimism leaked.
Did you see his Sparty shirt?
No, he didn't have a Sparty.
I'm messing with you because they're good fans. So I mean,
I just think when programs like this come out of dark times and there's optimism, you get a little bit of a bump there. And yeah, I think we were optimistic.
Ryan also talking about Virginia Tech here.
Yeah, and I realized that Michigan State and Virginia Tech are very similar programs right now, coming out of dark times. Although, in defense of what you guys were saying, they're a couple years behind. But love the coach, and I think the players were at Michigan State. It was the coaching that was the problem.
I'm seeing this at 14 right now.
Really?
Yes.
Well, the sheet says 13.5.
Oh, Sean.
Are you trying to take FAU? Is that why?
I'm just seeing it at 14 on DK right now. So Sean, let's get those 2 touchdowns.
Jesus.
I also see Oklahoma at minus 42. By the way,
I haven't heard you guys say this one time. Now you're doing some error checking.
You know,
you're like Grammarly with a mood.
So Colby, FAU plus 14, right?
Yeah, I just think game 1. I don't think
they're a live dog, but
yeah, I just think Michigan State probably still wins the game. It's just a little too much for me for game 1. Where now he's bringing in Aiden Childs, who I do think is going to be fantastic in the future. And he did have a video saying take the over on the win totals.
I did like that.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Did you forget, Sean?
I actually did forget. Yes.
Well, you can switch your pick now. You want to bet
they're still
going to
win, Sean. They're still going to win.
Yeah,
we just take the 14.
He didn't say week 1 spread.
If you bet the over
27-17 and
you see how smart that
cover.
was? He didn't tell you to. He wasn't telling people to bet. He can't get in trouble for them pushing the product. He said if you bet already,
let me
bet the over.
Let me push the product.
I like this guy. Yes, let's go Spartans. That's what two. The Chanticleers were the Spartans. Now we speak of the Spartans of Michigan. Florida Atlantic's a football or a baseball / basketball school. Come on, guys. Elon, speaking of baseball schools, they're heading to Durham, take on the Duke Blue Devils. Got another new situation out there. 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Got the Duke Blue Devils laying 27 against Elon, the Phoenix. 12-1 for a single college football game. Sean, minus 3,500 for Duke. 49.5 is your total.
Yeah, I mean, I like Duke a lot, but I think that
27, 23.5.
What did I say?
You said 27.
That's what it was. That's what it's in the sheet.
Did I put 27 on that?
Yeah.
It meant 23.5.
You meant 23.5.
That's what it is.
Sounds like a guy who might
we had
be
it on
Duke.
the other show.
This is unreal. We're getting the.
I'm actually taking Elon. Just so you know, I'm taking Elon.
Really?
Yeah, I am. Just because it's the first game for Manny Diaz.
Malik to Mars.
Malik Murphy didn't. In his, he does look like a beast.
Malik Murphy's a beast.
But I need to see it. And Elon is a little brother.
Around. He's gonna.
And don't sleep on what Elon. They've been an FCS playoff team not that long ago. They bring in Jack Salopak, the quarterback from Western Michigan. All right. I think they can hang around this game enough. Malik Murphy's going to be learning this new offense. And they hang around enough. Little brother. Elon is in North Carolina, dude.
That's fair.
Little brother's going to be a little mad. Fair. Let's go.
If it wasn't a new regime with a super, Manny
Diaz, he's never lost to Florida International. No, he has. Manny Diaz, he's never lost to Louisiana Tech. No, he has.
That's fair.
Right?
You're right. Give me Elon.
Elon, Ryan.
Yeah.
You're on Elon.
No, he's right. Manny Diaz is a fucking bum.
Yeah, I mean, I love the coaching situation at Duke, and that's what they always exceeded expectations. It's a lot to give up, a lot to lay. Coach first game, as Colby pointed out. Elon, little brother, get up for the spot.
You ever been to Irwin, Pennsylvania, Sean?
Oh, is that where they play the banjo?
Where is Irwin, Pennsylvania?
Fucking fine.
It's on the other side.
Well,
of the river
just Elon's starting quarterback, Jack Salopek, like I said, is from there. And I think he's.
See, I know I'm familiar with North Irwin, not regular.
Prediction: Elon's going to get their ass kicked, but I'm not going to bet on Manny Diaz. Western Michigan heads to Madison, Wisconsin. My short-term friend in the sports book also really enjoyed Madison. In terms
Great
of home
college,
environments. Yeah. What is it? They do the jump around. They do something up there, Wisconsin,
jump around. Yeah.
And they also drink a lot.
Yeah.
6 p.m. on the West Coast for Friday. Wisconsin is laying 24.5. Is this number right? Do we want to?
This is correct.
Maybe double check that.
And
minus 3,000 for the Badgers. Meanwhile, I think Colby and CJ were talking. Were you talking Western Michigan earlier today?
Central.
Wrong directional mission.
Yeah.
Well, we got the Broncos taking on the Badgers. 57.5 is the total. Western Michigan, another 12-1 dog. You can one game, Sean, just one game.
I mean, what's not to like about Western Michigan here? You got Hayden Wolf, veteran. I mean, this is like a veteran. This is Western Michigan, kind of their Super Bowl. They go in here in Madison, maybe shock the world. Madison already thinking about Alabama with Crimson Dreams, looking ahead, and Western Michigan is scrappy as all hell. Yeah, I mean, what Luke Fickell? What was the score against Buffalo? Like, didn't they let Buffalo hang around?
They did, and Buffalo was not nearly as good. I think from Western Michigan. A lot of people have them in the MAC championship. So
which is a very high regard.
Lance Taylor they passed the eye test last. I know they didn't have a great year, but I thought they were going to be in shambles, and I was impressed with what they did. That's why I got to take the points here. And another thing is Tyler Van Dyke at Miami, I thought got worse with the coming years. And now he goes to Wisconsin. I just don't know.
Wisconsin has Wisconsin had any luck with the transfer portal quarterbacks?
Their quarterback.
I feel like everyone they bring in
horrible.
It's like bad and got worse when he went to Wisconsin.
And I'm just not buying. You know me. I'm not buying into the Dairy Raid in Madison. All right. You should. Yeah. This is just
stinks.
Shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? So give me the points. I don't know about Luke Fickell if he's going to make it long term there in Madison.
I feel like this is gonna. I feel like this could be a sweat in the fourth quarter.
Western Michigan,
I'm with you
on the money line.
I'm with you.
Needs to hire a new schedule maker. You at Wisconsin, at Ohio State to kick off the season.
I like that job. I'm applying for schedule maker.
Well, I'll say this: they're not looking to head to Ohio State because they know they can't win that game. But this game, they got a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. And
what are you doing, Ryan? You're taking Western Michigan?
I don't know.
Oh, you're taking Wisconsin.
I don't see
what a Luke Fickell fan amongst us.
But to your point, they do have an FCS tune-up in between.
I thought they have
no. They play. Wisconsin plays South Dakota next week.
Oh, you're
first.
Right. The FCS playoff team.
That's fine, and that can be the
looking ahead to
That's
South
the
Dakota.
loss. That's the loss. That's where they look ahead to Alabama after they've dominated Western Michigan. Lay the points.
Wow.
I don't like this, Ryan.
What?
I don't like you supporting Wisconsin here.
They have to prove all you doubters of the dairy.
How do you feel about cheese curds?
Listen, Tyler Van Dyke.
Shout out to the Brat Stop though. I know they'll have the game on.
Yeah,
love you guys.
Everyone gets
Kenosha
a bump
in the house
when you leave Miami. All right, last one. 7:30 on the West Coast, Palo Alto, where it is known for not having football fans or any sort of home environment.
And also,
real quick, Brat Stop trivia, the 5 to 7. PM. Shout out to Kenosha, Wisconsin. Also great for the Brat Father. They got events, pinball, and more. And their banquet hall is available to rent. Give them a ring, 262-857-2011. Shout out to the Brat Stop. Tell them the Sports Gambling Podcast sent you.
Maybe buy one of their
free ad for the Brat Stop.
Maybe buy one of their Ask Me About My Wiener t-shirts.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah, that's very, very nice. The kids even like it when
they got a golf simulator. This is new. Volleyball league. Oh, moonshine tasting every Friday and
golf
Saturday.
Simulators
4 to 6 and 7 to 9. I don't know what happened 6 to 7.
Oh, they need a break.
Sober up a little bit.
Golf simulators are part of the AI systems to make all the humans fat. Imagine golf, but you don't have to move. TCU, will it be a home game? Maybe some TCU folks out in the Bay Area, probably. -9.5 here, -330 on the money line. Stanford +260. They have to have a great first game to show off for their new conference, the All Coast Conference. 59.5 just sounds like a massive total about a Stanford game. Just maybe it's my brain, but yeah, I would imagine TCU would have a decent traveling crowd here. So
really, to Stanford?
Yeah.
What about Ashton Daniels? Colby is a home dog, catching 9.5 +260 on the money line.
Oh, I like Troy Taylor, and I can tell you this. I just want to say a special fuck you to Stanford because they did block our media request for our pal from the stadium heads, and I thought it was hilarious because last year they had a game where they let everyone free into the stadium,
let them in for free,
and students aren't back until September 20th, so no one is going to be at this game. I can see tickets for $20 right now. All right, so fuck you. But
you don't think there's going to be a lot of TCU fans here going out checking out the Golden Gate Bridge?
maybe checking out the homeless shit flying around in Golden Gate Park.
You're right. Maybe the folks from Texas won't want to go behind enemy lines.
I do think Troy Taylor, he has nothing to do with us blocking. I think he would have let us in. Troy Taylor is to me year 2.
Like
that offense will get
all in price on game time. $22. So if you use the promo code SGPN, you can get in for $2.
How is that possible?
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they told us no. But hey, hilarious. Anyway, what I do believe though is I do think Stanford's live to win this game. I think Stanford's offense is going to move, and TCU's defense was horrible last year. I know they bring in Andy Avalos. But this is game 1.
I think Stanford can throw on them.
I think so too, and I think Troy Taylor will have this offense even more fine-tuned this season. And TCU needs to prove to me. I know that they're starting Hoover, who had flashes, but I still haven't seen him consistently play well. So I will take the points, and I don't think it's I don't think it's a crazy play to sprinkle the money line there.
Oh, is it still 9.5? Are we good with this number?
Let me check.
Because the number can. The number suggests
I'm seeing flat 9 right now.
Oh yeah, all right.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it kind of seems like the kind of game where people are waiting for it to get to 10, snapping up Stanford. I mean, I would say again as an ACC fan, this is a big game for Stanford, and if you're telling me that TCU fans aren't going to take over the stadium, I like Stanford in a nice quiet game.
It's like there'll be like COVID restrictions. They probably are still wearing masks.
Do you remember that article where like the picture was like Christian McCaffrey riding a bike? It was just talking about how nice it is that no one knows who he is because no one gives a shit about football there.
Well, dude, like that is something that is like NC Nick kind of hammered this. It's actually like a sneaky way to have a great home field advantage. Like
no field advantage?
Yeah, I actually think because you don't look forward to the game. You're like, oh, we got this.
Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden you get there and you find out the athletes aren't bad, and you're like, whoa, they're playing hard. It's like
called a no field advantage.
Yeah. So
Stanford has a no field advantage.
I like it. The trees. Let's go. Kramer, you're on Stanford.
Yeah, I'm on Stanford. I'll take Stanford.
All right.
They're in the ACC now.
You support all the coasts.
ACC opener right there.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's
not
go.
really, but yeah.
All right, time for our lock. Dog and bonus lock. Kramer, you have the honors. What are you doing?
Are you sure you want me to go first?
Wait, we're doing no teas on this one. This is an
Are you
opportunity
killing
we
the
could
teas?
Yeah, we killed the teas.
Is he officially killing the teas? That was Colby's favorite
I was
part.
just reading this what we had written down.
Let me fix it.
I'm not in charge of the sheet. I thought Ryan. I assume Ryan killed the teas.
I did let Colby do this. That is my bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll hand up. Colby, I didn't actually vet out his work. Well, we added the teas back. So lock, dog, teas, and bonus lock. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Okay. I can't wait to hear Colby's teas. He fought for that to come back. All right, lock number 1.
Yes.
Oklahoma. Lock number 2.
Now, what you're calling this 43?
I mean, you can call it Sally for all I care.
It's 42 right now, Sean.
Okay.
Lock 2.
It's 43 for Ryan though.
Got it.
Colby and I got it at 42.
Lock number 2. Jacksonville State.
Oh.
What was that grunt for?
Yeah, you stole my lock.
Oh, I'm sorry. And the dog, boy, I kind of liked what Colby was saying. As much as I'd like to fade the Buffs, I do think Stanford's the play here. Stanford always has grown ass men. That's the thing about Stanford, and they're smart. You know, that was the handicap of the of the wrestler guy. They were tease. A key element here is to make sure you know all your key numbers. So Sacramento State, we're going to tease right up to 8.5.
That's a beautiful tease. Professor Wong.
Minnesota, we're going to tease up to 7.5. Well, this is where we have to remind ourselves every year that good teasers aren't good in college football.
No.
And the last leg of the tease, let's get Wisconsin down to 18.5. Let's mix it up a little bit here.
All right. For my first lock of the college football week 1 picks podcast, part 1. This is interesting.
You can copy the locks if you want.
No, I'll go Stanford +9 as a lock. I will go Jacksonville State as my other lock.
Going for the trees, huh?
Yep. For my dog, Lehigh, maybe a bit out of range, but
I don't see a dog price. What do you want? I'll book it for you, right?
this Western Michigan team is talking to me. I do obviously I like Stanford, but I don't want to copy Ryan's
12-1 for a single football game.
One football game. So, just so crazy it might work.
How much? What do you think that would? Well, you could parlay it with Elon.
Yeah,
and that would be a lot.
Oklahoma, I'm going to get it down to 37.
Those numbers aren't worth as much there, Sean. Just so you know.
Okay, Colorado, I'm going to get down to 3.5, and I'll tease Lehigh up to 39.5.
Whoa!
Because that's something Colby would do.
That's a rare bad tease by Sean.
No, I crossed the key number of 35. Colby?
And 37.
Yeah.
Lock Colorado -9.5.
Oh, let's go,
God.
baby.
No, not again.
The second lock will be, or no, let's go dog. Let's go dog first here. The dog is it's Stanford.
Yeah.
Right. Or Monmouth, one of the two, right? Monmouth we don't have odds for. So go Stanford. Then the bonus lock is going to be Jacksonville State -2.5.
No.
The tease is going to be Minnesota +7.5.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Teased with Oklahoma -36.
Wow.
Yes.
That's the Colby.
Oh, that's right, Colby. I forgot. We got the key number of 42.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
my God.
And
you guys and your
actually wait. Change my bonus lock to Oklahoma -42 as well, Sean. All right. Get rid of Jackson. Get rid of Jacksonville State.
That's
it's
smart
Oklahoma -42 to get it done. And then the
you
last.
know what, I'm gonna change my other bonus lock to Colorado -9.
Wow. There we go. Let's go, buddy. Right. But the final play on the tees will be let's take let's just take Western Michigan up to 30.5.
Yes.
You know, we're gonna
let's have ourselves a Thursday and a Friday.
What is that?
What are we doing for the parlay? We like Stanford on the money line. Do we parlay it with anything?
Minnesota.
Oh,
that's
interesting.
Not bad. It's not bad. Stanford, Minnesota
money line.
Okay.
Stanford, Minnesota money line.
I like it. It's not too crazy. All right. Yeah, Stanford, Minnesota money line.
Think about it. You put a tree in a boat. You row that boat with a tree made out of trees.
The story checks out. Hey,
it didn't really work that.
Remember, promo code football, 10% off everything in the merch store. And shout out to the chat G in here, Dick Puncher, Avetta, bunch of folks. Thank you everyone for checking in. Cousin Mush even in here.
Oh no,
cousin Mush likes Cuse -17.
Whoa.
Come on. Stay away from that Syracuse. I got to win the ACC, Cousin Mush. And of course, the phrase that pays. Shout out to Ryan O'Flanagan, friend of the program, and Japan, who the first two to send their handwritten entries. Ryan O'Flanagan, also sent in a selfie of him wearing a baby whale shirt, which was awesome.
It's a baby
Very awesome.
fucking
And
wheel.
If you haven't checked out his comedy, he's
Very
fucking
funny
hilarious.
stand-up. He was also on the NFC South division preview, Bottom Line Bombs. Check that out. And does not weigh the judges. It will be completely random. Still time to get your entry in. Listen to all 32 team previews and go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/phrase. And of course,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
Gonna want to check out the Randy Cross episode.
Oh, Kramer, let it ride.